Coming up on Tech News Today, Sarah Lane, Dr. Kiki, Jason, Howell, even a bit of Becky Worley will be here to predict what's going to happen in the technology world in 2011. Find out what's going to happen here first, next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Thursday, December 30th, 2010. Tech News Today is brought to you by Slingbox, which just turned your iPad into a television. Slingbox introduces their new iPad app just in time for the holidays, so now you can watch your home TV on your iPad anywhere you take it. Check it out at a Best Buy or slingbox.com. And by MailRoute.info. MailRoute is a secure hosted service that provides enterprise-grade virus and spam filtering to companies of any size. Try it right now, absolutely free at MailRoute.info. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Dr. Kiki.
And I'm Jason Howell.
And New Year's party is coming up in a couple days because it's totally December 30th.
I'm
and
gonna
we're not
party.
pre-recording
Christmas
this.
was the best.
What did you get for Christmas, Sarah?
Well, that's
got
classified.
presents. That's classified. Yeah. If you
What
told me,
secret
it would
gift
make
did
this
you get
entire
on
show
Christmas?
classified.
Right.
And then we couldn't publish it.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to steal coal from the coal gasification plant that we went to. I was really hoping I could steal some and put it in
people's
someone's
stockings.
stockings.
Nice.
They said, we can't let you leave the premises with
Everybody wants to steal our coal right now. What's that all about?
I am happy that we are getting ready to do our first Tech News Today predictions show. We've got predictions from everybody here, plus special predictions from Becky Worley later in the show.
Oh, fun.
Nice.
Special predictions.
So,
I don't know what that means.
They're not. They're just regular predictions. I was trying to make them sound good, though.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah,
they're,
you know
they're
what?
special
You're
because they're
overselling them.
virtual.
They're special
and
because
they're
she's not
Becky's.
here.
They're Becky's.
Yeah.
That makes them special immediately.
They're special because she's too lazy to drag her ass in here on December 30th.
Wow.
Oich.
That's my New Year's
got
resolution.
real.
Insult Becky more.
Well, you're one day ahead of that.
New Year's resolution: be more offensive.
All right, we're gonna go through the predictions by topic, and everybody just chime in if you've got one in this topic category, and then at the end we'll just make it a free for all. Let's start with net neutrality. Anybody got something around the net neutrality issue where you think that's going to happen? Go events.
Net
in the coming year?
neutrality.
Nobody. I got one.
People will hate Comcast more next year.
Safe prediction.
Safe.
Safe prediction. I think Congress is actually going to be forced to act on net neutrality this year. I think that the backbone providers are going to have more fights throughout the year. So like there is that fight with Comcast and Level 3 over peering and transit fees, there are going to be more of those. It's going to get worse. And by the end of 2011, one or two ISPs are actually going to lobby Congress to put in legislation regarding that situation, regarding peering and transit fees. And it may be from either side of the aisle. It could be a tiering, a fee charging Comcast type thing, or it could be more of a net neutrality proposition from Level 3. But I think Congress is going to find itself in a position where they
has to do
to
something.
preserve the way the internet has interconnected up until now. They're going to feel like they have to act, and it may not be pretty.
Yeah, I think that I don't know that they're necessarily going to have to act, but we're definitely going to find net neutrality becoming more complex as more people use mobile devices, and we start looking more and more at inline or line access versus mobile, and whether or not we're going to be seeing
back to the wires.
Yeah, back to the wireline or wireless.
I think even on a more basic level, the idea that Congress will, as Tom is predicting, be forced to act on net neutrality one way or another. So many people, even at this point, still don't really get net neutrality and what it means for them and what it may mean for them, good or bad. And I think that by the end of next year, let's say, or this year, 2011, the general public will be forced to have a much better understanding of what this all means. Because I think, a lot of folks still, many people care, but many others just are not affected by
they
it
have
yet.
no idea what it means. Or
I think
why
as
they should buy
it affects more and more people's pocketbooks, because really what it's going to mean is that charges are going to go up, or you're going to be charged for things that you were not charged for before.
Exactly.
And
that makes people care.
And that makes people care.
Yeah.
Get educated because my pocketbook hurts.
Ow, my pocketbook. You got me in my pocketbook. Let's get these out of the way early. We've got to have Apple predictions because, well, you just can't make it through a day without an Apple prediction usually. So how can we make it through a prediction show?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because when I sat down the last couple of days to write out predictions, I wasn't trying, but I ended up with more Apple predictions than probably any other single topic.
All right, reel them out here because
Go
I'm sure
for
I got
it.
some of the same ones.
I'm sure that you do, and maybe not on one of them. That's my bold prediction. Number 1, no iPhone on Verizon. Because I feel like I know that there's a lot of information out there, no confirmation yet. And I know it's ridiculous to say this, right? But you got to kind of hedge your bets sometimes and go for a big pick. I think that we've heard this all before. We've heard little bits of murmuring here and there that it's absolutely going to happen, and then it's not. And it hasn't happened yet. So it's not horribly crazy to predict that you won't see the Verizon iPhone.
There will be a Verizon iPhone.
Yeah, I think that's. I think your
yes.
prediction is wrong, Jason.
Yes,
It's
no.
You don't know for sure.
It's valiant, but it's wrong.
I predict that in the results show of 2011, Jason will hang his head in shame over this prediction.
Valiant.
Shame.
I know that I realize that I'm probably going to be wrong on that, but I was like, why not?
Why not?
All right. Fair enough. No.
I predict that I will continue to not have an iPhone because
Well, you
don't
can't
like
predict your own behavior because you can make that happen.
You don't like touch screens?
well, I like keyboards. I like having a
Physical
keyboard,
keyboard.
physical
Yeah.
keyboard, keys to. So yeah.
All right. What else you got
Anyway.
from the Apple side?
Yeah. What else?
Boy,
Howell?
I'm afraid of the other ones, man. I think in the end of 2011, no tablet is going to come close to matching the dominance that the iPad will kind of exert throughout the year. I think there's going to be a lot of
already seeing
competitors.
it.
We're already kind of seeing that. Android, obviously, the big push. And I think Android's going to get better on the tablet front. You've got the BlackBerry Pad. I think they're all going to be valiant efforts, but I think the iPad just got there early enough, and they've already kind of established their place as the name that everybody knows and trusts, even and among the people that might not, that might just think I want a tablet, but I don't know which one to get. They're automatically going to pick the iPad.
Do you think there will be a new iPad?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I mean, don't you think?
I think it'll be a new,
That's
more
why
useful.
the iPad will remain on top is because there's going to be an iPad 2 with a camera.
With a camera.
Yes, absolutely, and just the recognition. I mean, everybody, it's just that whole Apple thing where people, Apple's just kind of the first one to kind of bring these new types of technologies, and this is part of another prediction that I have, but these new types of technologies into the minds of people who might not have known that those things, might be a good idea for them.
I think it's a really
beforehand.
safe. I think it's. I'm not criticizing. I'm saying I think that's.
I'm sure a lot of my
I think
predictions
you're
actually
right.
are pretty.
I think you're right on with
some of
that.
them are
I think
safe.
it will. I think it will not dominate as much as it did this year when it was virtually the only choice for most of the year.
Right.
But I think it will continue. What? Okay. How many more you got in this?
Beatles
in the
on
Apple
iTunes.
category?
Oh wait, no. No, that already happened. I wish I had predicted that for 2010.
Everyone's predicted that for
Yeah,
a
at
while
some point
now.
or another.
Might as well keep predicting
you
it.
probably
Every
did
year.
predict it, actually.
The Beatles will stay on iTunes.
Can I
exactly.
add an
sure.
Apple prediction? Not to steal your thunder, Howell.
No, absolutely.
I
don't know if I
think-
have much thunder right now.
I think we will not see a white iPhone.
That's a good one.
I
That's a
think
good-
that the white iPhone, I mean, the frenzy has died down to the point, and all of the reasons why it was delayed. I mean, remember when the iPhone 4 came out, it was the black and the white right next to each other,
Yep.
and that was the big deal. And it was like, well, white will
white's
be
just a
available,
little
in another month,
Soon.
end of summer,
September.
And then it was, there were certain delays, and there was excuses, and then there's a color problem,
April.
and then there was
Yeah.
there's something with the glass, and then it was the colors aren't quite right. I don't think we're going to see one, and I don't think people really care anymore.
I think I'll put it this way. I think if we see one, it'll be iPhone 5.
I was just going to say, yeah, exactly. They'll come out with the next
if
one.
there is a white iPhone, it will not be a white
then
iPhone 4.
they'll launch
Yeah.
with it. Like they'll make a big deal about the fact that at
It's
launch
white.
it's going to be black and white coming out at
As
the
if
same
that
time.
was the greatest
Yes.
Like,
Right.
we've doubled your choices.
Exactly. No waiting this time.
Yeah.
You waited for a good reason.
Yeah. We think we got it right.
It's a
This is the
5.
whitest white that you can find.
It's like Tom Cruise's teeth white. He has very white teeth.
That may be-
Actually,
that
we
may actually be what it's
scraped
called.
Tom Cruise's teeth to make the. Never
This is
mind.
made from real Tom Cruise teeth enamel. That's why it took so long.
That's why it took so long. He's a slippery sucker.
All right.
All right, only one more. Okay. And this is one of my bolder ones, I guess. I don't know why. Apple's going to release or announce the release of some sort of revolutionary 3D technology across its platforms. And the way that Apple does, where they take some type of technology that people have done before and they make it somewhat just more awesomer in the minds of the people that end up buying into these things. I'm not really quite sure exactly what, but I know they've been filing a lot of patents around 3D technology. 3D is a big buzzword right now, whether people respect it or want it or not. And I think Apple's the one that eventually kind of does some sort of integration with mobile or desktop or something to kind of bring this whole 3D thing and take it to another level that people finally get behind.
I see your logic behind it, and it's totally right on as far as the way Apple does things. But the only reason I don't agree is because 3D is not ready yet, and Apple never jumps on anything until it has already been done, right? And 3D has not been done in any compelling way yet.
Now, you
Tablets,
say 3D? That's
true.
Music players, all of this stuff had been done and tried, and Apple went and took all of the mistakes and figured out this is the right way. They had they have to have something to contrast it to, and we don't have that yet. Maybe we will. I don't know, but that's my hesitation.
Yeah, when I was writing this, I was like, this might be a prediction for like 2 or 3 years down the line. But
yeah.
You're
But
being
whatever.
bold.
Gotta go
Now,
out on a
when
limb.
you say 3D isn't ready yet, is it because we still have to wear glasses or sit at a certain
Well,
angle?
first, nobody has it.
Right.
It's you have to wear glasses. It's unsatisfactory. There aren't many channels. Apple's going to wait until it's out there and people are already using and complaining how it's good, but it's not done right. And then that's when they write in and say, like, we've figured it out. This is the way 3D should be. I do think they will have a television by the end of the year. And I don't think it'll be a 3D television. But I think Apple TV will no longer be a hobby. They will finally come out with an announcement saying, you know what, we've been calling Apple TV our hobby, but we think we finally got it right. And we're very excited to introduce Apple TV 2, and it's built in to a Samsung television or whatever, whoever their partner is, Sony, whoever. And they will have Apple TV available as a set-top box and also integrated into a partner television.
I think that goes for, the whole idea is that everybody wants to be integrated into a TV so that we don't have all these set-top boxes.
Exactly.
So that goes for Apple, and Google's already done it, and
Yep.
Sony.
Any more Apple predictions before we move to Google?
Google me.
Let's move to Google.
Let's move to Google. Who's got a Google prediction?
Speaking of Google and television, I think that Google, with the limitations that they have, and networks and other distributors not giving them content or allowing them access to content for their TV, they have YouTube. I think they're actually going to get into the market of producing content.
Well,
for
they
YouTube.
already are.
Sort of, yeah.
Sort
No,
of.
but I think
You're talking about Next New Networks?
Yeah.
No, but I think on a big scale, I think that they're going to actually create like a television level production studio down at Google headquarters.
Well, and
what I
that
think.
Next New
Have the
Networks
money.
acquisition could lead
Could
to
very
that.
well be part of that. I think you're
Like
right. I don't have any proof, but I get the impression
I don't
that
have any
they're
proof either.
already doing that.
Yeah.
Just from little, I've got friends who work at Google, and no one has said anything like we're building a TV studio that of epic proportions to me. But I just get that sense that that's the way that things are going over there.
I mean,
at least
why
in
not?
the YouTube department.
I mean, they've got the ad network. They've got, why not create content that they can stick their own ads into, put it on YouTube, and they've got the entire system, the whole pipeline.
Do you think they'll
On their own.
Do you think they'll buy a studio?
No.
Like
As opposed to
maybe Comcast's acquisition of NBC falls through and Google comes in and snaps them up.
Well, I think acquiring an entity like NextNew, which for anybody who's not familiar with them, they do a lot of web programming that's not unlike what we do here, but their emphasis is less on live, more
episodic. Yeah,
episodic.
Channel Frederator. And Obama Girl.
They were responsible for How'd Your Kids, How'd Your Wife,
Yep.
Auto-Tune. So they have
Auto-Tune,
some really massive viral hits, which of course work really well with YouTube.
Yep.
And but that said, it's still, we're still in that kind of web video. It's not the early days for us, but it's the early days for a lot of web video consumers.
Right.
So that, I think, is a great experiment for YouTube and, of course, Google owning YouTube to go through. And yeah, I mean, if it's a success and they go, okay, this makes a lot of sense for us, not to just have people uploading videos of their cats, but we actually now own this high quality video, then yeah.
And we can have a whole series of documentaries about cats.
That's right.
And babies.
And babies on skateboards.
Yes. Or dogs on skateboards.
I volunteer to host that show.
With Sarah Lane. I think
Cats and babies on skateboards with Sarah Lane.
I think by the end of
Baby monkey.
I think by the end of 2011, Chrome OS will eat the rest of the netbook market. The netbook market has kind of been declining,
Yes.
or at least it's perceived to be declining. I don't know if it's actually declining or just growing very slowly, but people think tablets are killing off the netbook. We're just going back to having laptops. I think Chrome OS will finish it. People will decide I'm either going to get a tablet or I'm going to get a Chrome OS netbook after they start going on sale in the middle of the year, and that will be it. Nobody else will make netbooks. They'll make Chrome OS netbooks or tablets, and that's it.
I'm still unsure about the Chrome OS netbook in general.
Yeah. You think people will still want Windows netbooks?
Yeah, I do. I think some people do. Absolutely. Yeah, I just I don't know.
Ubuntu.
I can't predict anything.
The reason
I'm
I say this is
unsure.
because it's a dying form factor anywhere. It
is.
doesn't seem
Yeah, it really
like
is.
anyone wants it. And I think the few people who do still want it, instead of an actual lightweight laptop, will decide to go for Chrome OS. And manufacturers will say, well, we're going to bank on that, because I think Google will continue to allow you to jailbreak your Chrome OS devices and put whatever you want on it anyway. So if you want to have it Ubuntu, well, you buy it anyway.
I predict that the Google Chrome OS netbooks will become a lot thinner and sleeker than they are now.
Oh yeah,
No one will ever buy them.
Yeah.
They can't see them.
They'll be starved. They'll be so thin. Any more Google predictions, Google-related stuff? Before we, I want to thank our sponsor while we have a chance. This episode of Tech News Today is brought to you by Slingbox. Just in time for the holidays, still holidays, New Year's still around the corner. Slingbox introduces their new iPad app. You can watch your home TV on your iPad anywhere you take it. Slingbox is a great holiday gift. I hope you got one. But maybe you got some extra cash for the holidays and you're looking at buying a Slingbox. You can find Slingbox or see a demo at Best Buy. You plug it into your television, you plug it into the internet, you get all the television you have at home anywhere you have an internet connection, on your laptop, your phone, and now on your iPad. Check it out at slingbox.com. Slingbox and your home TV now appearing on iPads everywhere.
Woohoo!
Now playing. All right, let's continue with industry predictions. Just we talked about Google, we talked about Apple, so just kind of backing off and being more general.
Yeah, the industry is a weird thing because, Tom, you and I were just talking today about this first round Capital Christmas video that went around the internet.
Oh, right. Yeah, you were mentioning.
You hadn't seen it, but I had watched it because some friends of mine were shirtless in it. So anyway, I watched it, and the whole idea was that they...
As are so many of your friends.
That's why they're my friends. What they did was, it was like a happy holidays from a variety of companies that they invest in. And I watched it, and it was like, wow, most of these companies I've just never heard of. Now, that's not so weird that I may never have heard of the companies, but I mean, I've never heard them mentioned. I follow a lot of people on Twitter.
They didn't
who
even
do this
vaguely
for-
ring a bell.
Not even vaguely. And I just thought to myself, there's just no way all of these people are going to survive. And I'm not talking about first round capital. That's
No,
that's
you're talking about,
I'm talking about
and not
the
even
industry.
just first round capital funded
No,
things. You're just talking about the tech industry.
I'm talking about
not the steel industry.
Yeah, I'm talking about a 2 or 3 person team who's gotten a little bit of money and is trying to make something that is eventually either going to grow into a Google or get sold, and you get a nice reward and you walk away. And there are too many of them, and they're doing too many of the same things. And I just think a lot of people are going to come out with a loss.
It's a bubble.
Yeah,
it is a little.
I
bubble.
think it is a bubble.
People have been talking about this a bit. There have been several articles out. People analyzing it's not going to be something that hits the general market, though, because we're not talking about publicly traded companies.
Right.
We're just talking about these small startups and maybe the VC firms.
Yeah, it won't be as bad as the .com bust.
It's not going to be like the .com bust, right?
There's sort of a firewall around it.
Yeah, but the VC firms or the angel investors that are getting into these little tiny companies, and they're going to be hurt.
Right.
Yeah,
Do you think
there's
the
going to
bubble
be some damage.
pops in 2011?
I'm not sure that I'm not sure that it will in the next year. I don't know. I think for some companies it will, because they maybe have run out of money without a significant return, or a way to get money back. I think it's going to start. I just can't. I can't see things continuing the way they do. I mean, I have a lot of friends who work at startups, and they have good ideas, But there's like 4 other companies that do the same thing, and it just doesn't work that way. They're not all going to get bought by Facebook. No. They can't all get paid.
But that's just the best ones rise to the top. The ones that are the strongest. You hope that the ones that are going to be the best out of the 4, or however many there are, those are the ones that are going to make it.
Right.
One of them will get bought by Facebook, Google, whoever else. They're just right now. There's like just a ton of these little startups because there was the economic crash. People lost their jobs and went, "What am I going to do? I have an idea. Maybe I'll be an entrepreneur and I don't have anything else to do."
Right.
And now
now it's flooded.
It's flooded. Well, but everybody's hiring. All the Yahoo layoffs. It's like all the little companies go, "We're hiring. You're an engineer. We'd love to have you." It's like there's a place for everybody to go, but that's just not the way things work. Yeah. I definitely think we're in a bubble. I think maybe by the end of 2011 we'll start to see some collapse.
The bubble will start to pop. Well, let's go around the horn on the obvious company to be acquired in 2011, Twitter. What do you think?
I don't think they'll be acquired in 2011.
You don't think it'll be acquired at all? Do you think they'll be sold, and to whom?
And to whom?
There have been many buzzings about Twitter being purchased, and there's been no real movement forward. There's still they're kind of fighting to kind of be on their own, I think.
They just got a good round of funding.
Yeah.
So their valuation was huge.
I question whether or not they will get bought this year.
Whether they really want to be bought.
Or even
right
whether
now,
they want to be.
I mean, I predicted for 2011 that they would be bought. And now I think I kind of have, obviously that didn't happen. But for
2010.
Or for 2010, sorry. For 2011, I kind of don't feel like they do. I kind of feel like the companies like one of my predictions is that Groupon will wish they had sold to Google for $6 billion. And I feel like, exactly.
How do you verify that?
I don't know how you verify that. Some of it, I realize there's no real
Groupon has a press conference. I really wish we would have taken that money. Damn it.
We do take backs.
What were we thinking?
No, I guess my prediction there just lies in the fact that I don't know why Groupon wouldn't do something like that. What their bigger plan is that's
Facebook
better.
didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. But Facebook kind of has their platform kind of has the possibility of doing so much more. Groupon to me just really seems very narrow.
But at the time they turned down the money from Yahoo, everyone said the same thing about Facebook. They said, well, but what else are they going to do? I mean, there's a limit to they're just a social network. And now they've shown this is what else we can do. We can be email. We can be login. We can do things that MySpace never thought about.
Although then again, Facebook turning down Yahoo, some might argue that Yahoo is somewhat of a dismal place right now.
Like a bad friend.
Is that what Groupon's saying about Google? We don't want to be part of something that's going to go down
it's different.
in the next couple of years.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's
fair enough.
All right.
I think by obviously Groupon's not going to have a press conference if they wish that they would have sold. But I think it's one of those things that everyone kind of agrees, like, boy, they missed out on that opportunity.
Yeah, it might become a
that's more of
a topic of conversation. All right. We'll move on from industry to internet TV. So we're getting a little. We talked about this a little bit already, but I got a couple predictions here. One, I think competition for internet streaming on your TV is going to narrow down to 3 or 4 platforms by the end of this year. 3 or 4 big platforms, and one of them is going to have the lead. There's going to be one that's seen as the leader. It may not be the winner yet, but we will have an idea. The way we have in smartphones right now, which is Android, iOS, Windows Phone 7, RIM. Those are the 4 that everyone talks about. And then there's Nokia and Symbian, who has dominant not smartphone, trying to kind of claw back into it. But we really have 4 platforms on smartphones. I think we're going to see that with internet streaming, with over-the-top boxes, whatever you call them. How
many would you argue that we have now?
We have an infinite number. We've got Boxy, Western Digital, Roku, Apple TV, Google TV, Myth, TiVo. There's just.
I guess to me, there's still kind of a top 4 out of that list.
Yeah,
that
you could make that argument for sure. I think it's going to be very obvious that there's really nobody else but these 4.
Mm-hmm. I would say Netflix is going to be one of those.
Well, Netflix, do you think they're going to be a platform? Because I think they're
as a platform.
Yeah, I think they're a provider
a provider on a platform. Yeah. They'll be a major provider. I think they're going to. I think in 2011 we're going to see them make some major strides in getting licensing contracts for television programming.
They're going to be one of the leading channels on this platform, is what you're saying. Yeah, I think that's true. I also think internet TV is going to outshine 3D this year. I think the manufacturers are going to continue to put 3D in every television they sell. They're just going to try to make it part of the deal, but they're actually not going to push it as much as they did this past year because they realize the resistance to it. And so what they want to do is get you to buy a TV that has 3D in it for another reason. And I think the internet connection is going to be that reason. And then hopefully they'll have it set up where they're like, hey, you know what? You've got a 3D TV now. Maybe you didn't even realize it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's actually fairly cheap to build it in. And then they can start pushing the next year, hey, buy the services and start pushing the industry that way and start pushing better 3D TVs and all of that. But I think they've realized people are like, yeah, I'm not really that convinced about the 3D.
You know, the 3D TV thing is the HGTV thing of a few years ago where people went, oh, I mean, high def it looks nice at Best Buy, but I don't really need it. And then, you watch like Monday Night Football once in high def and you're like, oh, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't go back to SD.
I can't not watch this.
I can't do that. When we were at the Gadget event a few weeks ago, the HP folks had a basketball game playing on a 3D laptop. And I've from the very beginning, I like a 3D Pixar movie here and there, but I'm really not into 3D. I don't know. I'm not quite the target audience. And I don't even like basketball. And I looked at that. I had to wear stupid glasses, so that was part of the deal. But that was pretty much the coolest 5-minute demo I have seen in a long time.
All right.
And I think that it's like you've just got to do it once or twice, and then you think, I can't watch 2D basketball anymore.
I think
the ball was coming right up.
I think they're not gonna push that aspect until 2012. I think they're gonna pull back a little bit. That's all I'm saying. But.
Well, there's too much convincing to do. It's like let the consumers spread via word of mouth. Yeah.
Any other internet TV type predictions?
Well, I predict that Blockbuster goes away.
Completely.
Is that crazy?
Goodbye, Blockbuster.
Goodbye, Blockbuster. I mean, I
don't think that's crazy. I do think they'll have a slower death, so I don't know if they'll be totally dead by the end of 2011. But I don't know.
And we've already kind of started to see that. I also actually made a general prediction that I thought cutting the cord will remain the stated desire by many, but the reality of few. And I don't know how you rate that at the end of the year, but
that's an easy one. You look at the statistics of how many people have cut cable and how many people are watching internet TV. The statistics right now totally bear you out. There's almost no one, statistically speaking, who is relying on internet TV. I mean, there are people in our audience who are like, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm one of those people."
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of people talk about it and talk about wanting it. But I think the reality of it, and especially right now, and like you say, maybe eventually these
and you're saying
boxes,
that's not going to change.
Yeah, I don't think it changes much this year.
All right. On to software. Any general software predictions?
There's going to be good software. Software will get better.
That I like. Yeah. And that people like too.
I think we're going to see software on your computers. App stores galore. I think that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's really all I've got to say. Everybody's going to try an app store. I don't know. Does anybody have a feeling of how well they're going to do? Is one app store, is the Mac app store going to work? Is the Chrome OS store going to work?
I'm excited about the Mac app store.
Yeah?
I am. I mean, I'm very app happy these days, at least iOS app happy. And, I get a lot of joy out of it. There's a lot of junk, but it's easy enough to filter it out. And there's a lot of good stuff. I don't know. I'm very excited to see that on a Mac.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll get it January 6th.
I'm excited.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Tech News Today is brought to you by MailRoute of MailRoute.info. That's software that you don't need to buy. You just you buy the service, and Tom Johnson, friend of Leo, runs the company and keeps all your spam from showing up in your box.
He's the best.
If you own your own web host, your own small business, and you edit MX records, that's all you need to know to do MailRoute.info. And even if you're not sure about that, there's a new option for the smallest businesses and family users who just have a few email addresses that you don't even have to know that much for. The price is $33 per year. TWiT discounted to $29.70 per year. That's just under $2.50 per month. And you heard me right. No spam. This kills all the spam out of your account. So if you're sitting there thinking, it's never going to work, it's just going to cut it down. I resurrected an old email address that I can actually say out loud because I know it. Even if you sign it up on a spam account, that spam will get killed. acedetect@subbrilliant.com actually works as an email address once again, thanks to MailRoute. So check them out. You can try them for free. Give it a whirl at mailroute.info. Let's finish up with a few more categories on our predictions show. Tech News Today. 2011 predictions for media, publishers, music, movies, and that kind of stuff. What kind of, we're going to continue to see the RIA and the MPAA battling the copywriters.
Yeah.
We're going to see paywalls. Anybody got particular predictions in that realm? I got a few.
Yeah, I have one, but it was kind of a toss-up. Well, it's kind of an Apple prediction, too, but I moved it to cloud because you told me there was going to be a cloud or kind of like a music media section.
And now it's music.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm intrigued. Go,
You
Howell.
shouldn't be
Just
that
make
intrigued.
the prediction, Jason.
iTunes music subscription cloud service. And I did predict this for 2010, but I think it's going to happen in 2011.
You know what?
now.
You keep predicting it.
Getting closer.
Eventually, you may.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable. It's going.
I think it was supposed to happen this year, and they just could not get the deal done with the music industry. The fact that we don't have Spotify in the United States.
Yeah.
Unless it happened between the time we totally recorded this on December 30th and now.
I don't think anyone's doing a whole lot of deal making between now and December 30th.
Yeah, probably.
So I think it's very safe to say
Yeah.
no Spotify in the next week and a half.
We are going to see more paywalls go up on newspaper sites. That's for sure. Everybody said that. I think we're going to see subscriptions go down.
Absolutely.
Visits go down. But I do think ad dollars are going up. And I think it's all going to be a wash. I think that the newspapers are going to realize that they didn't need to do the paywalls in most cases because the ad dollars are going to start flowing in greater numbers this year. And so the ones who do it right, where they don't actually discourage visitors in great numbers, like the Wall Street Journal does, like the Economist newspaper does already, like the New York Times seems to be planning to do, I think they will have a huge win and realize that they can have paywalls for a certain type of user that's very small, but they really won't need it. That the ad dollars are going to make up for stuff.
What about somebody like CNN who just released their iPad app for free?
Yeah.
Because their whole philosophy is charging $1.99. We got 2 million downloads in just over a year. But we could get a lot more if we just,
Make it free
to get everything in
Yeah.
everyone's hands, and then just to have a little Lexus ad in the bottom corner is fine for people. I mean, they're watching CNN and they're watching commercials, and it's not really free, but people feel like it's free.
I think that's a good canary in the coal mine for this because there is more ad money for video ads out there than for print ads.
Yeah.
Or so-called print, text ads, banner ads, all that kind of thing. And I think the banner ads are going to follow that. And then I think people are going to realize, wait a minute, I can charge a lot for these eyeballs. And the eyeballs are going to be moving to apps and websites more and more. And of course, as we've seen with the Times in London, when you put a restrictive paywall up, the audience goes way down.
Way down.
They're trying to argue that they're still making enough money off that small subscription, but when it goes that far down, you're not going to be able to sell the advertisements anymore because the advertisers don't want to reach that audience. It's too small.
Yeah. Do you really think that the ad dollars are really going to start coming in to make that big of a difference this year? I mean, over the last, or is that just positive thinking?
No, everything I've read, everything I see is like the upfront is going to be the biggest upfront in years for broadcast television. That the ad agencies are starting to really create an aggressive budget. And I think this is the first year where they're going to look back and say, you know what? We need to do something different than we did when we had all this money 4 years ago.
Yeah, broadcast TV
we're not
is one
afraid of
thing,
digital.
though. Yeah, broadcast TV is one thing, but then the web and everything else, that's a completely different beast. And we've seen numbers go up slightly over, couple of percentage points year by year. It is growing, but I'm just wondering if it's going to see a really dramatic jump this
Well, that's what I think is going to happen because the advertising money is going to go up for however they want to spend it.
Yeah.
And they want to spend it on video, and they are going to want to spend it on other types of advertising, and I think apps will be hot.
Everything will just
and
come
I think it's finally going to be, well, I won't get fired for buying newspapers is going to go out the door. That's what was happening is like, you know what? I'm just going to buy broadcast television. I'm going to buy newspapers because no boss is going to fire me for that. If I buy that website and the campaign goes south, I might get axed. That's going to go away. When you buy newspapers, you're going to be seen as old-fashioned and buying a dying medium. The fact that we've had all these conversations about newspapers dying are going to force the advertising agencies to move their money onto the web because that's the present. It's no longer the future. It's actually what's happening now.
What's happening.
At least that's my prediction.
It's a good one.
I like it. I like it. I question,
It's good to question.
I've been an optimist for so many years. I think I'm finally getting cynical. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that's fine.
Just like,
I also think book publishers will start acting like the MPAA did in 2008 and the RIAA did in 2005, and they're going to start suing their fans and trying to lock everything down and causing a ruckus and making it hard to get books, and they're going to go through all those that same learning process that music and movies already did.
Yep, I agree. I don't think that
safe.
there's going to be anything different happening there. I think
my crazy one.
Oh, crazy!
All major live sports will be available through pay web services by the end of the year. You'll be able to get baseball, football, hockey, basketball, UFC. I say that because Jason's a fan. All the major sports, soccer will be available on an internet streaming box, including the NFL on your Roku by the end of 2011.
I believe it.
Now, isn't that also one of the big reasons for people not cutting the cord? Is because those are the
That is one of the issues.
Those are the types of events that you just say, listen, the Super Bowl only comes once a year, and I want to watch it right now, and I want it to be live, and that's how I get it.
Well, the thing is, we've already got NBA on Google TV. We've got NHL and Major League Baseball and UFC on Roku. So we've got little pieces here and there, and there's a big rumor that NFL is ready to go. They want to do it next season. So I think they will, and I think that'll be it. Everything but the Olympics, Steve at 3X points out in the chat room.
The Olympics, that's not going to happen.
The Olympics won't do that.
It'll still be on NBC, right?
Wouldn't it be nice if the Olympics did do that, though? Because then you could actually watch things live rather than NBC's stupid packaged versions of the ice skating championship.
Lennon 2010 says ESPN ain't going to be happy, and I disagree. I think the ESPN will be one of...
We'll be behind it.
Because of their app on Xbox 360, if you've looked at that, that's a killer app. They have NCAA football and basketball. They will be the provider of that, I think, in a lot of ways. So, and they work with Major League Baseball in their streaming. All right, last major category, gadgets. Just any remaining gadget predictions?
Facebook phone.
You think there'll be a Facebook phone, eh?
It's not coming out this year. Well, it's either a Facebook phone or Facebook will be very, very tightly integrated into some kind of Facebook branded device. A branded device that's going to come out.
That's, that's possible.
When I was in France, I was talking to this guy who is an investor in this manufacturer that's making phones in India that they do a few things well. Little feature phones, and they're not expensive, and those sorts of not that Facebook in India is that's what I mean by this, but the Facebook phone in certain markets I think will be really successful.
Really successful.
I mean, we sort of go, Facebook phone, what? You just use the Facebook app on our iPhone. But in certain markets, these feature phones that do, if you're a Facebook user and you only want to pay, $99 for whatever it is, I think that it is a really good idea.
That's a really convincing reason for why there would be one. I can totally see that. That definitely fits.
I think that assuming that the Windows tablets that are rumored to be announced at CES indeed will be announced, and that their form factor is pretty cool, I think that they'll make Windows, I think that they'll be more popular than Windows phones will be using the same interface. The Windows Phone 7's interface is cool to me, but there's a bit of scrolling and sliding that I feel like I'm missing some of it on the phone. The form factor, the UI is great, but I need more real estate, and I think it'll actually catch on better on a tablet.
I think laptop sales are going to slow, and I actually think by the end of 2011, we will no longer think of the marketplace as computers and mobile devices, but as one sort of continuum of equally large markets of different types of computers. Desktop computers with all of their specializations, laptop computers for their specializations, tablet computers, netbook computers dominated by Chrome OS, mobile devices. We may see a couple new form factors filling in gaps in this area by the end of the year. And instead of a sort of there's computers and then there's mobile devices, it's just going to be balanced out. There's going to be just as many people using smartphones and tablets in the developed countries. This is actually already the way it is in a lot of developing nations, but it's going to be that way in the developed countries as well, where it's just going to be, some people just have a tablet and a smartphone, and that's it. They don't have any other kind of computer.
I mean, if it wasn't for editing, which is obviously CPU intensive, I don't need a laptop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of become the only thing I really need this laptop for.
It's you have a specialized need for a specialty computer.
That's right.
But that's what that is for you now.
And the need has really dropped. I mean, it used to be I needed a computer that had power, a certain amount of processing power for all sorts of things. And that's really the only thing I've got left that my iPad can't do for me.
Interesting.
All right.
I went ahead with a general, I basically looked at smartphones and how much they sold this year, and currently that's right around 40% of all mobile phones are smartphones. And so I wanted to predict around that. So I say 55% of mobile phones.
I like a measurable prediction.
Which ends up being more than half of all mobile phones in 2011 will be smartphones.
You may be being conservative, though.
I know.
Yeah, I wondered about that. I wanted to pick something that, I don't know, that was a little gutsy, but maybe I was too low on that.
I also think we're going to see a big breakthrough in battery tech. And that is a total wishful thinking prediction.
Yeah.
But there have been so many advancements in batteries this year, in capacity, in size, wireless charging, that I think sometime in 2011 there will be finally a battery product that comes out that changes that paradigm of batteries never last as long as you need them to and are really heavy and take up most of the space in your device. I think there will be some big new development, and it may not even come to market in this year, but it will be that it'll be coming to market soon enough that it's going to revolutionize how we can carry around all this stuff and what it can do.
And I hope so.
I
hope so too.
I think it's wishful thinking.
I think it's wishful thinking that it'll happen next year.
That it'll happen. It will happen.
Maybe 5 years would not be so wishful.
Yeah. From people that I've spoken with in the battery sector, the big changes and actually something huge that's going to change everything, we're looking 10, 15 years.
All right, fine.
But there could be some advances.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably 10 or 15 years. But there could be some advances that will dramatically alter, miniaturizing batteries, is a big deal, maybe even in capacitor technology within the next 5 years. And that's going to be, I think, where we're going to see some.
It's going to be a surprise advance.
I would love something to happen next year.
One more thing.
One more.
The eye battery.
You can't even see it. It's so small.
All right, let's just finish up. Sarah, do you have any other predictions before we wrap up?
This isn't so much a prediction as I think a real concern. The news, the big news, at least today. I mean, December 30th
last week
was that Delicious may be going away, and a lot of people are really upset about that. And not only like, oh my gosh, some people. I haven't been using Delicious now regularly for a couple of years. I used to, though, and I think it's very valuable. However, it is being widely used by a great number of people.
I use it once a week.
And there's a lot of data there, and it scares people to know that they've really they've put so much effort and trust into a service that, assuming you can probably, I know that there are ways to port their data elsewhere right now, and that's what people are already talking about. But just the idea that things do change, and a service that you just really didn't think you were going to have to worry about. I said earlier today, it's like, well, I know Flickr, no one's talking about Flickr, but if there was something that went wrong with Flickr and I lost even a single photo, I'd be so upset. And I think that is something that we're just going to, it's a reality that we're just going to have to figure out, or I don't know. It's like we have to get our brain around the fact that nothing lasts forever. And how do we just keep changing with the technology as it changes and things go away and there's better trends and there's better services so that we don't lose the things that are important to us and, kind of don't lose hope.
Data portability, huge deal.
Maybe there will be some kind of advance in 2011 to make people more aware of how they can get their information off of these trusted websites that you're investing so much time and effort into creating.
Backupify, for instance.
That kind of thing. Yeah. But different ways that you can keep your data, your photos, whatever it is, that if something goes away, you can you can get it onto your computer.
Well, and Google is actually a big mover in that space of saying, you know what, we're going to make your data entirely portable. Anything you store with Google, you're going to be able to take with you if you leave Google.
Right.
And that Backupify takes advantage of that when they store that stuff. So more companies need to pay attention to that.
But it's even a company that you're relying on it's another company that could go away.
I guess my roundabout prediction.
But your hard drives could crash too. At a certain point, you just got to be like, okay.
Yeah,
there's only so much you can
you need some
prepare.
plan Bs rather than like, well, company. I guess my roundabout prediction is that companies will have to have thought this through.
Yeah.
We can't continue to sit here and go, oh my gosh, what about all my stuff? It's like, that's just got to be something that people know about up front, or they're not going to be using services anymore.
Yeah. All right, Kiki, your final predictions?
Final predictions.
You got anything else?
We're going to hear more from WikiLeaks this year. I don't think 2010 is going to be the end of the WikiLeaks stories.
Case closed.
You remember back in 2010, that one WikiLeaks thing? Oh.
Before they were obliterated from the internet
forever.
I don't know.
You can't get rid of stuff like that, even if it's not WikiLeaks.
There will
whether
be.
It's
open
out, leaks or altered leaks or
It'll move. It'll continue. Additionally, I think that our government, and this kind of goes with, I guess, network
Kiki leaks,
privacy. Yeah, Kiki leaks. I'll start my own.
That doesn't sound very good.
No, it doesn't at all. I don't think I like it.
I blame the chat room.
Another one, I think the government, Congress will seriously consider the do not track list. I guess this could have gone in the media.
FTC wants to do that.
Yeah, the FTC wants to push forward a do not track list, kind of like the do not call list. I think that they will seriously consider it.
And the President's Privacy Committee finally came together, so maybe they'll take that up.
Yeah, that'll be taken up. I don't know. Ultimately, nothing's going to happen that will limit companies' attempts to deliver you personalized advertising content.
Nor do I think you really want it to go away entirely.
Yeah.
Personalized advertising content is actually a very good thing. Instead of sitting there watching the commercial for children's toys and, Depends, you can get, unless you have
Unless that's what you
unless
want.
that's what's targeted. But I'm guessing most of our audience, that would not be right. You want, if you're going to have to see advertisements, to at least see advertisements that are relevant to you. It's just whether you know what's being tracked and whether you have control over it. I think that's the key. Not that it never is tracked, but it's like, I want it transparent. I want to know what information from me you're taking and what happens to it after you take it.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. Any other predictions?
Oh, I got one more.
All right.
Skype's going to be sold again. That's
You're
it.
crazy.
You're crazy.
You're a crazy man. Who's going to buy it?
Yeah.
No, you don't know.
I don't know.
As long as it survives.
Yeah, exactly.
Skype must
Skype's a
live
great
on.
product. It's a great product. Everybody uses it. I just think, obviously, eBay were the wrong suitors for them, and somebody's going to come along and realize.
Well, the folks who bought it and run it now seem to want to run it as a company, right? So that's why I said you're crazy off the bat, because why would they sell it again? But you're not so crazy, because if they're doing a good job by the end of the year and it's very valuable, a Google or a Microsoft or an Amazon might come in and say, hey, we'd like to incorporate that in a sensible way, not the way eBay did it.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that.
What if this is sort of like a maybe prediction? What does everyone think? Skype HD on the Skypeosaurus. Possible? I know it could be possible from our end, but then we'd have to rely on fat pipes on the end of Gino Trapani, for example.
Right.
Or Paul Thurrott.
That becomes a case-by-case situation where it's going to be Skype HD on our end, but it won't always be HD in practice because you got to have the
Depends who
person
you're
on the other
talking
end.
to.
Yeah. We need the HD TriCaster for that.
That's true.
I predict an HD TriCaster.
But we're going to get that.
Yeah, exactly.
We know that's coming.
Part of the goal.
I predict I won't touch Leo's ISDN box anymore because I break things when I do that.
Well, you just forgot to turn it back to the original settings.
I predict
Easy.
you'll never make that mistake again.
Exactly. I predict.
How about Becky Worley?
Oh, yes.
I hear she has something to say.
That's right. She does. So I'm just going to roll it.
Hey, what about me? I got your predictions right here. Not, hedged predictions. Oh, no, I'm going big. Ready for this one? Apple makes a big screen TV. At least 42 inches, LED backlit LCD. It's going to have all the streaming Apple TV built right into it. Steve Jobs says, hey, Apple's a hardware company. And he also says there's no go-to-market strategy for a set-top box. So the only way that he can make this a viable product, big screen TV for Apple. You heard it here first. I also think Apple is going to buy Sonos. You know, the streaming music company, they sell little boxes that you put through your house, and it creates a really good wireless music service through your house. I think that would be a natural acquisition for Apple. I'm actually surprised they haven't done it already. Google buys Twitter. I think Groupon will rue the day that they spurned $6 billion from Google, but I think Twitter is maybe maturing into acquisition state. This is a weird one, and I work for both of these companies, so I don't have any inside knowledge. I just kind of see this synergy with Disney and Yahoo. So I'm going to go big and say either Disney buys Yahoo or they merge their news departments and ABC News and Yahoo News become one. Like I said, I work for both companies. I don't have any insider info. I just think, I could see that. That makes sense. Then again, that could be AOL Time Warner all over again. So I don't know. I think that the Wii is going to have an upgrade. I think we're going to see Wii 3D, Wii HD, Wii some D is going to happen with the Wii. They have obviously gotten a lot of pressure from Kinect and are going to have to jump to stay competitive. Netflix gets 50 million subscribers. I don't think that's a far cry. Another thing that's going to happen in home theater, I think we're going to see 3D TV without glasses. I think there's a real pushback from consumers that the glass is not so fun. So we're going to see the 3D TV without glasses, but I think it's mostly, at least this year, going to suck. The viewing angle issues are still going to be a problem, but we're going to have a glimpse into the future of 3D TV without glasses. I think that we will get an iPhone on Verizon. Yes, I do. Shocker, huh? I think there will be a second iPad and that it will have a camera. You Yeah, okay. You've heard those predictions already. But I'm just throwing my hat in here. Those are the predictions that I have to offer to the TWiT army. Have a great new year all and a fantastic 2011. Okay, guys, back to you with your wishy-washy predictions. Just kidding.
I think she's crazy.
Buy.
Actually, I don't think she's entirely crazy.
She sounds like she's on the stock market.
A Wii 3D? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not out of the question
I
to
see
think that they could do something with 3D around they already did that with a 3DS.
Why would Disney
right?
buy Yahoo?
Disney's not going to buy Yahoo and Google's not buy Twitter. She's nuts.
But Disney buy what? What in the world?
Yahoo and
Apple
AOL are
buying
going to
Sonos
merge.
is interesting.
I think that's really interesting.
That's a crazy prediction I could buy. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it happened, I'd be like, Becky Worley, she was onto something.
Yeah. Some sort of,
If
said
Google bought
Apple
Twitter-
TV not coming out of hobby phase, and now we've got a whole surround sound.
And she said
Entertainment
Apple
system.
42-inch LCD TV, so she even got more specific than me.
Yeah.
42 is too small for my living room.
I must have a bigger television.
I must have a 57.
No, 42 is what you want. It's Apple,
Right.
for
It's
God's
Apple.
sakes.
And it has
They're
no
not
buttons.
There are no
The answer
choices.
to everything.
Oh, dear.
I got two more before we wrap up. I think near-field communication has become the new buzzword
Yes.
for mobile devices this year.
That was one of my runner-ups.
And it's not really going to work in practice. It's just not. Everybody's going to talk about having NFC in their phones, in their tablets, and then when you go out, it's like either never going to be available or it's going to be down, or you're going to be like, yeah, I just can't get it. I'll just go ahead and pay with my credit card. That's fine.
I just don't think the infrastructure, like you said, is going to be as laid out as it would need to be for that to be
I think it's going to be pushed.
Useful.
I don't think Apple's going to do it, but I think it's going to be pushed into a lot of other phones. I also think browsers are going to start taking on more operating system functions this year, like the Chrome Web App Store sort of things. I think Firefox, Internet Explorer, all of them are going to see that as a way to say, you know what, let's start taking over some of this stuff as well, and let's become the platform that's cross-platform for people. And whoever does that well is going to get an edge in the browser war.
That's interesting.
Browser wars. I think Chrome is.
Must another browser die?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to think so.
I'd like to think that.
Yes,
All
I
right.
would.
It won't happen in 2011, though.
Any
survive.
last words before we turn on the?
Boy, 2010, what a great year!
It was.
Huh?
It was a good. Hey, Sawyer.
Came in for the New
Distracted
Year's
dog.
party. Well, that's it for us on Tech News today. Hope you have a wonderful New Year's celebration and an even better 2011 than any other year you've ever experienced or could have experienced ever. It's a lot of pressure, but I want you to live up to that. You can find us on the web at twit.tv/TNT. Email us. Let us know about CES. We're going to be there in a couple days. TNT@twit.tv. And, of course, you can give us a call. Leave us a voicemail, 260-TNT-SHOW. We'll see you from Las Vegas. Actually, we'll see you from the cottage for one show and then Las Vegas.
And then Las Vegas.
Yeah.